Of course, the memes that go with them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they don't know what to do. I mean, I've been watching so many videos and they don't even know what to do. So, I mean, I don't know if certain videos say that they're sending out fake things about this and that, and then
Yeah.
it crashes and they're buying up everything. Who knows? But,
Yeah. It's
you
so much up in
don't-
the air.
Yep.
It's a wild ride though, and it's fun. I mean, like for anybody that has some money that they don't mind possibly losing, like I would definitely recommend either get into day trading or get into crypto because what have you got to lose? I mean, whatever money you put in, you're probably gonna make some or maybe you lose a little, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, like it's worth the experience. I mean, that's how generations and generations of people forever have been making money.
We're gonna be in the history books for this stuff. I hope you guys know that, right?
Oh, absolutely.
That's
the plan.
It was a good day today for your boys,
Yeah.
Robin Hood.
Yeah, and I hope I hope that eventually like it gets to that tipping point where our generation's now in control of the markets, in control for lack of a better words, but just being able to have it where it's a fair game across the board is what I would like to see.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and maybe we should make an ESC token. We could sell electric skate coin.
That's
skate
funny you
coin.
say that, because I was on the Evolve owners group and someone was saying something about a graph of cryptocurrency,
Yeah.
and in the corner it had the Evolve E, and it said E coin, and I was like, oh,
Huh.
could you imagine if all the brands got together and had their own PEV coin, and basically you could trade and you could buy all the products throughout all PEV and all the different companies with that token.
That'd be pretty smart. I mean, if you could do it in a way where it was like economical and was green and would like supported what eSkate's all about, I would invest.
I mean, yeah,
It's a no-brainer with the number of companies that are out there and the number of companies that are growing, and the fact that it's like decentralized, so you'd be able to trade with some of the China-based companies.
Yeah, exactly.
Be able to trade with like Evolve, who's based out of Australia. Like,
Yep.
Yep.
Man, I'll tell you what, those PayPal fees dealing with China, man, they are a royal
yeah.
bitch.
Oh my gosh, yeah, get rid of all
So
that.
get rid of all that. Yeah, no.
the e-coin.
Yeah, no, I'm there for it. If it means I
I'm
don't
all
have to
about
pay
it.
those suckers
Heck
anymore.
yeah.
Ugh.
Oh my gosh, that would be awesome. I would invest, no problem. So kind of cutting back to eSkate. You've been doing it for a while. You've had some falls, you've had some slips. You've also made a lot of progress, and you have a somewhat of a decent following. What would you say for those new riders out there? What are some tips that you would give them from the perspective of this is how you survive a crash because you've been in a bad crash before, all the way to like this is how you ride and have a good vibe and ride well with a large group.
Yeah, impart upon the newer riders your wisdom.
Yeah.
If you would.
Yeah, so what I would suggest to any person that wants to get into electric anything is do your research. Once you do your research and you buy your product, learn your product.
Yeah.
Learn your product, learn how it operates.
Yep.
Once you have figured that out, who gives a shit? Sorry if I'm cussing.
Oh no, you're good.
It's okay. I think I said bitch earlier.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit if you go slow? It's better to be slow and steady because then you win the race that way, correct?
Exactly.
Yep.
So you don't have to buy your board and go to the group ride tomorrow.
No,
Okay, you don't
that's a bad
eager-
idea.
Eager to get that product that same exact day so you can go do the same thing that everyone else is doing on YouTube or on social media. So regardless, it's a time thing. I say within your first month, you're going to fall and it's going to hurt.
Oh yeah.
Because you didn't buy a helmet, you didn't buy pads, you didn't know how to properly fall. So watch the videos on YouTube, learn what you're going to get yourself into, because this is not a toy. This is not anything to be messing with, because you can either break a leg, you can break a bone, or you can end up dying. So you have to actually learn your product, okay?
Yeah. Yep.
I've seen too many people over the last 6 years that have gotten severely injured and that have actually died from getting hit by a car by not paying attention, because they're not used to being on the street with just standing on a piece of wood and some motors.
Right.
So learning your product, knowing what you're getting yourself into, once you get it, be one with your board. You know, you have to actually get to it, learn how the belt tension works, learn how to adjust your tires, learn how to lubricate your bearings, learn all these things by the people that are out there doing it on a day-to-day basis.
Yep, exactly.
Because when you don't do that, then you get frustrated, you get upset, and if you drop your remote, well, guess what? You're screwed, because everyone drops their remote and everyone gets pissed off about it.
Yep.
But the thing about it is if you did your research, you took it slow in the very beginning, you wouldn't do that. Because I've only dropped a remote my first year of riding because I wasn't used to it.
Yeah.
But after being with it for 6 years, I never dropped a remote. I always use the lanyard. I put it in its case. I put it in the backpack. If it drops, it's protected.
Yeah.
So that's what I would recommend to anyone that's getting into it, is do your research. And then once you've done your research, then pick your product and then learn that product like it's your best friend.
Yeah.
Have you ever dropped your remote? I've never dropped
it. I think I've always used the lanyard. I think I probably learned from somebody like Joe who did drop their remote the one time, and I was like, yeah, I'm never going to be that guy. Well, so I always wore the lanyard.
Exactly. Yeah. And he raises a good point. I always use a lanyard. I've never dropped my remote. There was a new rider in our group rides one time, and I did catch him like at one of his first rides, like never using the lanyard. And I'm like, brother, you are going to have a bad time if you drop that. So anyways, it's I never thought about that like until like he mentioned like dropping his remote. That would suck. Well, but yeah, I think what I would love to see someday is like a sit down, serious, like almost maybe not documentary per se, but like a serious sit down video of like e-skate content creators that have had really bad accidents, really bad crashes.
Like a
sit
round
down,
table.
Yeah, like a round table. You look at the camera and be like, listen, man, this is not a joke. This is not a toy. This is a vehicle.
Yep.
And be like, listen, the helmet is a must. The pads are a must. This is non-negotiable.
Yeah.
You know, people make fun of the helmet police or make fun of like people that, you know, don't tell me what to do. And I get it. The skate culture by definition has a little bit of rebellion and, you know, kind of screw the man to it. But like at the end of the day, like we want you to skate for a long time, and we want you to be a good example to the other new riders that come on after you.
Yeah, and that's something we talked about in our last episode too, is with the number of inexpensive boards that you can buy on Amazon and stuff now.
Oh God.
The amount of kids and young adults and people that aren't going to take the time to research is going to increase significantly. So it really does fall on people like us, like Joe, like Brandon, like Lisa, everybody that's out in the scene that are you know, creating these followings to really educate people. Even with like you're saying of like always wear a helmet.
Always wear a helmet. It's not a joke.
It takes that one time when you don't wear it.
Exactly.
And you're like, should have wore a helmet.
Exactly. And Joe raises a good point, you know. Like these are not there are some situations where there's no do-over. There's no walk it off. Like something's broken, it might have even if it heals, like I have permanent pain every day from accidents that happened. Some of it was actually preventable. And you know, obviously I do okay. And I'm sure Joe has aches and pains that he wishes he could take back. And I would love for like, you know, guys like Joe who have like a serious following to sit down in front of the camera and be like, listen, like don't make the same mistakes I made. Learn how to fall properly. This is important, and kind of set that trend from the get-go, so that, you know, we don't have kids out here hurting themselves in a permanent manner.
Yeah, huge shout out to Ruroc, right?
Yeah. Yeah, a shout out to TSG, man.
Everybody. I mean, anybody. All the helmet companies, all the protective equipment companies, they're out there just trying to keep people alive. Exactly. And the number of times I've seen people be like, "Oh, this is a piece of crap." It's
right, like, overkill. Yeah, I don't know, man. I've got DMs screenshotted like on my phone that are like, "Hey, man, like I just wanted to reach out to you. Like I bought this helmet because of you and your videos, and like I had a massive crash." And it's not me being dramatic. That's literally what he wrote. He's like, "Hey, man, I bought this helmet because of you, and I had a massive accident, but like I'm here to like to talk about it because of this helmet." And I screenshotted it and I sent it to TSG. I was like, "Hey, man, like." This isn't just about like a helmet making money. Like there's seriously like lives being saved and stuff.
Totally.
Have you ever had any of those moments, Joe, where you kind of went up to somebody and were like, "Why are you wearing a helmet?"
You know, man, I did for a long time, But then when I see someone that shows up and they're not wearing a helmet, it's like, it's his choice.
True.
You
Yeah.
know, I can't at the end of the day, I can't tell someone what they can and cannot do.
Yeah.
Because I'm not their mom and dad, and regardless if I was their mom and dad, they still wouldn't listen to me.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I mean, I hope that they do, but I think whenever they see a massive, so whenever it's like you show up to that party, right, or you show up to that gathering, and you're the only person not wearing a face mask, everyone's gonna stare at you, and then you're gonna be like, oh, well, maybe I should put on my face mask so I don't get stared at.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of going around the same thing, because
Yep.
when you go to a group ride or you see someone that they're always wearing a helmet, and you see 50 people wearing a helmet and one person's not, then it's like, oh, well, why is everyone wearing helmets?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. You kind of got to go with that peer pressure mentality. And
Positive peer pressure.
Yeah, it's positive. Well, yeah, it's protective equipment.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like if everybody stayed on the bridge and you jumped, like, why?
Yeah, exactly. But I think, that more passive thing that Joe's talking about, where, the whole group's doing it, you have a lot of experienced riders, the cool kids are doing it, and they're doing something good. They're wearing protective gear. We want you to ride for a long time. I think it's that more subtle passive, like, influence to say, hey, this is important. This is worth it. We highly implore you to wear a helmet. He's obviously, Joe's right. Like, we can't force people to do it, especially in skate culture. Good luck.
Yeah.
But to eventually be like, hey, man, I genuinely care about you. Like, we hang out together, we ride together. Like, you're part of the family, you're part of the community.
Yep.
For that reason, I encourage you to wear a helmet. I think that will go a long way in e-skate culture than, wear a helmet or you're a terrible person, in my opinion.
Yeah. And speaking of, big group rides and stuff like that, if you had a preference, Joe, would you prefer those big group rides, or do you like when it's like you and Lisa, or like you and like 2 or 3 other people?
Like a squad.
Like, do you prefer like a small squad, or are you like all about the big rides, like go big, go home?
So we were talking about, I'm going to backtrack just a second. You were talking about accidents. I've been hit by 2 cars.
Oh, man.
After my last accident, that was the last time I've ever skated by myself. That was that was August the 3rd of 2018. So I haven't skated by myself since then.
Wow.
So if I do skate by myself, I have 3 shots of whiskey so I can actually get through the PTSD of not getting hit.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because I think I'm afraid of getting hit and no one seeing me.
Yeah.
And if I have people with me, then it's like I'm not alone.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense.
So to answer your question, I enjoy the big group rides because it shows the community that everyone is welcome. But I'm hosting those events and Evolve, and then I'm also leading those events. So I actually like just getting in together with about 5 or 6 guys and going out for a rip, and we have no cameras, we have no nothing, and it's just us getting out there having a blast.
Yep.
That is what I enjoy.
Yeah, I would agree. Those are some of our favorite rides. I mean, like, you go out at like, right as dawn is happening or dusk, either one.
Dawn? Are you going on like 6
a.m.
early
rides? Morning rides all the time. But like dawn or dusk, like that in between time when there's like way less cars. It's just you and your friends. You can shred from like point A to point B.
Yep.
Grab some food, grab a drink, whatever.
Yep.
And then shred to the next spot. And it's like there's something about having that small group where you're not worried about who's watching or like what content is being made by whatever influencer. Or like for Terminal X, he's always filming. So those rides when he's not filming, we're always like, oh, let's just like shred it. Let's go. Let's go some crazy routes. Let's go find some place we've never been to. There's this one like crazy tunnel that we rode down. It was like super duper steep. It was one of those they're almost like the like waterways where where you like it's like a washout basically to prevent the area from flooding, and we were like, let's just ride down that. Like we were all padded up, of course, but like it was one of those things like we would never do it on video because it's probably not the best idea, but it was so much fun. And we like took our time and scoped it out first, but like you can't do that in a big group ride. You can only do that when it's just you and your buddies.
There's an element of enjoyment for doing things for the experience and the pure like tranquility of being in that moment
Yeah.
and enjoying like, you know, what you have and the people you're with versus doing it for the gram or doing it for the video, doing it for content.
Yeah.
And I'm lucky. I kind of I've hacked the system a little bit because I can just click a button and like the adventure's on and whatever happens happens. I probably only end up posting maybe a third of our rides because you know sometimes it just isn't that interesting to watch. But for me, like, it's about the experience.
Yeah, actually tomorrow, I'm really good friends with one of the managers at K1 go-kart track.
Oh,
and
nice.
so they actually opened up their doors and everything like a month or so ago. And I talked to him, and he was like, "Oh, he's like, you know, if you guys want to come by during your lunch break at work, you know, you guys are more than welcome to." So tomorrow, me and like 7 guys from the shop, we're gonna go to K1 for lunch and rip around the track for about 45 minutes and then get back to work. So that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, we'll probably film it and we'll probably put out some stuff. But dude, it's just being able to get together with just about 5 or 6 guys and just having some fun is totally awesome. I love it.
Yeah, kind of those little impromptu rides where it's like, yeah, we'll just go for lunch and have a little shred and it'll be super fun.
Yeah.
With a kart track though, I mean, is that like urethane or are you rocking your AT wheels for that?
So you can do either or. But I mean, if you do the urethane, you might slide around the corners. But the track is actually indoor, and it's like the smoothest asphalt you'll ever skate on, bro.
My heart just pitter pattered.
We did it for the World Cup in 2018. We had a open track for every electric skateboard, and some of the guys are building these massive DIYs and ripping around the track. The benefit of having the AT tires is you can actually grab those corners. With the urethane, dude, you're gonna slide around the corners, and unless you know how to slide the proper way, you're gonna wreck. So tracks.
Plus with the Evolve, you know, the double kingpin trucks. I mean, those tight corners.
Oh yeah,
are nothing.
that's a good point.
You eat those up. I would say most DIYs don't go double kingpin. In fact, I think most e-skaters tend to have like criticisms of double kingpin, but as we've discussed previously, you know, with the right bushing setup and, you know, understanding your vehicle and learning how to use it.
Yeah.
I grew to love double kingpin truck at the time that I had it.
Yeah, mine's very loose, and it's just the way that I like it set up. And someone could get on there and be like, "Dude, how do you not ever get speed wobbles?" And I was like, "Well, you just kind of learn how to operate your product the longer you have it." So
exactly.
Yeah, it's very easy for me to do that, but someone, they can just get on it and they're gonna have an issue.
Yeah, being able to feel the board and where it wants to pull you and where it wants to push you based on your setup, that is more valuable than anything you'll learn, because knowing how the board reacts to different things, whether it's cobblestone or gravel or a sharp turn, like that's the difference between you and the pavement meeting.
Exactly. Yeah, muscle memory.
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah. So kind of cutting back to the content creating, kind of how you guys were talking about how you're going to do some video and things like that. What advice do you have for those people that want to get into content creating? Obviously you take a very like natural process to it and you kind of just vibe with it and ride and enjoy yourself. But for those that, you know, are very new, maybe they're young and they haven't gotten into the scene as much as us, what kind of advice do you have for them to kind of get into creating content?
I mean, everyone has a cell phone, but it's very distracting when you're trying to go live on Instagram and answer someone's question and talk to them when you're live, and then you're trying to focus on what you're doing and actually paying attention to skating so you don't fall or hit something and get hurt.
Yeah.
But what I would suggest is find a small pole camera, whatever, and then try it out. You know, I know a lot of businesses and places have like, you know, the return policies, like Best Buy, you could probably buy a camera, like a GoPro, try it out for a couple days, like go deep into it, and then get you a pole, try that, see how it goes. I love the Insta360. I had a buddy of mine that he had the first one.
Yeah.
And this is awesome, And then once I got mine, I was like, dude, the editing process is very easy. It's an app thing you can do. And it also gets rid of the pole. So I've seen some of the GoPros where, it's kind of split and like the cropping isn't there.
Yeah.
But with Insta360, you can pretty much, you don't see the pole unless it's in a shadow. And you can actually see everything around you. And I think people like to see that. They want to see what you're doing and everything around you. When people just film their board, that gets very boring over time.
Yeah.
You want to be able to grasp the audience. So, just doing something that's different and doing something that's out of the ordinary, or just being yourself, because no one's really normal and everyone's different. So just being yourself and then adding that to your videos or your content, that's my only suggestion I can give you somewhere. Be yourself.
Yeah. That's funny that you mentioned the Insta360R and like removing the pole. We went to a ride in Chicago, and one of the guys out there, Trent, who's on Instagram, I think it's Trent Chicago or Trent Eastgates or something like that. But he had a Insta360, but he put it on like a 30-foot pole, and it was the most like ridiculous looking thing because it was so high up. But then you watch the like 7-minute video of the ride, and you're like, oh man, like he's onto something. Like you can get these crazy like drone shots where he like basically pushes the pole through the crowd, and like you can see everybody but nobody, and then you can go so high up that it looks like you're flying. Yeah. And the only bit of the pole you see is like the tiny little like 2 feet by his hand. Yep. But it's like the rest of it's just empty, and it's so cool.
It was really dynamic. It was definitely like I don't know if it's groundbreaking, but like I had never seen anything like it before. Yeah. And at the time I was riding, right? You're in the group ride, right? You're focused. You're looking for stuff. What's in your way? You're looking out for other riders. And all of a sudden, like out of the corner of my peripheral, I see this little tiny like metallic object go flying by me. And I'm like, what? What is that? And I look, and then there's this pole, and it just keeps coming. Yeah, it's such a long pole. And it just keeps coming by me. And it just keeps coming. And then eventually, like about like 10, 15 seconds later, Trent shows up holding it and keeps going on.
It was cool though.
It's like a jousting
he got some really cool shots. But like you said, you just gotta do something new and unique and be true to yourself when you're filming. I think that's great advice for anybody that's looking to get out there.
Yeah, be different.
In any town, any small town or any big town, there's always a place to ride. There's always that cool scenic area, that someone out there is going to want to see. Whether it's the beach, the mountains, or trees covering a road. Dude, I had a coworker that went to, Virginia or no? One of the East Coast states or whatever on the coast, and he took some pictures of like this street. No cars were on it. He was riding a bike, and the trees were covered. And I was like, dude, could you imagine bringing your board out there? He's like, oh man, it would have been awesome. So I mean, just being able, to where you guys live at, you can grab content anywhere. You don't have to live in a big city or whatever. There's plenty of places to get content where you can grab the attention from every person that's wanting to see it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's definitely a testament to the curiosity of Eastgate too, because people are constantly stopping you and wanting to talk about it and ask about it, and that number only increases when you put stuff online, because then you're reaching out to the entire world. You're not just in your local community now. You're telling everybody about where you are and what you're seeing. And yeah, we've definitely had some of those moments where we're like, oh, this is the coolest ride we've ever been on. Oh yeah. And it's like, oh, we just rode like 30 miles north on a bike trail. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. You can edit this part out if you want to, but should I share like a pretty modest version of like the you remember the person that like I met on the bike trail and then like ended up like finding me later? Yeah, no, you should share that. It's a good story. All right, so me and a friend riding on a bike trail, right? We have lots of bike trails in Grand Rapids. They're beautiful. With Eastgate, you're the apex predator on that street, so you're the fastest, the most powerful thing, so it's a good feeling of dominance. There's no cars to worry about. And they go for miles, like all over, into different cities and 40, 50 miles,
Yep, so we're kind of out in the middle of nowhere, really. And we stopped to do a battery swap on a boosted board. And, we're late for something, so I'm moving real fast, changing stuff. It's like the NASCAR tire change out. We both have our helmets on because, time is of the essence. And this soccer mom, like, rolls up, like, typical, like, stroller plus the
Two and a half kids.
Yeah, with the kid on the bike with the training wheels, and she just kind of starts like asking us like normal like vague questions about like, oh, how fast does it go? How does it work? All that, and I feel terrible now. At the time, I think I said like 10 words total because I was rushing to swap this battery out, and my friend was doing most of the answering of the questions, and I felt bad, but like we were late, and so I had to get this battery swapped, and we weren't rude to her by any means. But like, we had to go. So we answered her questions, and she kind of like went on like, after a couple of minutes and went down the path, and like we were ready. We took off, and then like I see down the trail she had turned around and was now coming back towards us, and she said something to us as we flew by her. And I actually don't ever know what it was, and I was just like okay, like to whatever she said, and we flew by her. And so we get home, like an hour later, like I'm on my phone and I get like a follow notification on Instagram, and I go to see who it is, and I'm like, I send the screenshot to my friend and I FaceTime him. I'm like, does this person look familiar to you? And he's like, it's that soccer mom from the trail. Bear this in mind. I never gave her my name. I never gave her my Instagram or any information. She never even saw my face. My helmet was on the whole time, and I was like, she didn't know she didn't know anything. I never gave her any information. Like I said, I probably said 10 words to her, so I was shook. So I sent her a private message, and I was like, hey, like, without being weird, like, have we met? And bear in mind, this is Terminal X. Like, you can't see my face.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, I was on the trail, and I was like, well, if I can ask, like, how did you find me? Because I definitely didn't give you like my social media. And she's like, I Googled Grand Rapids electric skateboard and you popped up. Your videos popped up. And yeah, the rest is history. Yeah. Crazy like coincidence.
Yeah.
But yeah, I make enough YouTube videos in Grand Rapids, and she recognized some of the spots that I had filmed in, and yeah.
I mean, it just shows that like you're impacting people even when you don't think you are.
Yeah, no clue. No, I really should put like my Instagram channel on my helmet or something, because like I don't know, like what are the chances, man?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So we'll kind of wrap it up because we're hitting that 1 hour mark. But what kind of future projects are you working on, Joe? What do you got coming down the pipeline? What's up next for SoCal Legend? What's up next for Evolve? What do you got in the pipes?
Dude, I wish I knew what was next with Evolve. I have been trying to pry, and usually they give me some bits of information.
Yeah.
Dude, no clue. I wish I did.
Keeping you in the dark.
Yeah, and so, I mean, it is what it is, you know. But new projects, I have an older Gen 2 Carbon. It was like the first generation carbon board,
and
I think I want to turn it into a GTR, and then with the new white wall board, tires that just came out.
Oh yeah, those are cool.
Those sold out like immediately, but
I
think I want to make a lowrider board where
that'd be so dope.
like take like the do like white walls, and if I can do like baby moons, like the old 50s style.
Yeah.
And then do like some old style, like gangster pinstriping.
Oh yeah.
You know, black with the black and red and the white pinstriping, and then do the LED lights underneath or whatever else. Just do something a little different.
Yeah.
But I actually have a guy in where's he live? In Washington, and he hit me up, and you know, we've been following each other for like the last 1.5 years or 2 years, and he's like, dude, I would love to have a custom SoCal Legend board. And he's like, how much would you charge? And so, you know, he's like, I got the board, you know, what do you think? And I just shot him just like a rough of what I think that, you know, I would like to do to the board if he's leaving it up to the artist, because you know, I get tattoos and I kind of leave it up to the artist so it makes it flow really nice.
Yep.
And as long as he, you know, makes it a nice tattoo,
right?
You have to trust that person. So he's like, dude, I'm leaving it up to you. And I said, what colors do you want? What kind of vibe do you want? He's like, I want a beachy style vibe with these kind of colors. So over the next month, I'm going to start customizing that board for him. And I'm going to get it all hydro dipped. I'm going to do some cool things for him. and I'm not for sure yet. If I can get it done before like the 22nd of June, I'm actually going to hand deliver it to him in Washington.
Oh, nice.
So
that's some top of the line service.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, that's cool though. I mean,
some
I
OG.
think that's you got a lot of potential there, because obviously you've done custom boards for yourself. You've done some of Lisa's custom boards, and those things are all over the place and badass. And so yeah, I can totally see why people would start reaching out to you for that kind of stuff. Not many people have super customized evolves. They're usually pretty bare bones. So it's
I mean, a grip tape and just the simple changes that you can do.
yeah.
You can get from the shop, but other than that, there's only, I think I've seen one other guy in the Evolve industry, and he's in Hawaii, and that guy, he's a tattoo artist, so he does pinstriping and painting.
Oh yeah.
Brother does engraving, and dude, this guy has some of the, I mean, his boards are far top notch than mine.
Yeah.
But I'm using mine as like an everyday to day. His board should be hung on the wall and like with art pieces. So I mean, I would love to have some trucks that were engraved or whatever else. Dude, that's taking it to the next level. So
Yeah.
I mean, I try to keep it, somewhat bare bones, because the shit gets scratched and it gets, dinged and, over
Yeah,
time.
especially when you're riding it every day.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And then one last thing that we kind of ask all of our guests, if you could create your own dream board, what would that custom dream board be, and what would you use it for?
Well, how many minutes do I got? So this is an hour and 4 minutes.
Take your time. Fill up the time.
Okay, so there's a lot of things that are missing from electric skateboarding. Okay.
Yeah.
Whenever you're in the desert riding around in 90-degree temperatures, your board overheats. I want to have some form of a cooling system to a board that's going to be able to cool the product down where it's not going to overheat, and nothing's going to happen to the product at all. I mean, you're taking it as a car and you're bringing it into an electric skateboard. Also, too, I've said this for years, a GPS tracking device for your product that you have is going to be a gold mine. If I had the coin to do it, I would have already invented it. I would have already came out with it and gave it to every single person that has an electric device.
Right.
So I want to see those things integrated. I don't really care about range anymore, because I've done my 80, 90, 100 mile days, and that's like a long day. I want something that's going to be reliable, and I want something that's going to be able to get me, at least a nice 15-mile-an-hour cruise. Or if I want to just balls to the wall, pull the trigger, and then go that 15 miles, I want to see a product that has like a remote that can actually like design your board to, and these are all my dreams.
Oh yeah.
But I want to be able to see a board, like a remote, where you can go in and you can go, okay, I'm letting my niece ride this electric skateboard. Yes, it can go 50 miles an hour, but I want to drop it down to where it's only going to go 6 miles an hour, because a kid, as soon as they grab that remote, they're going to pull the trigger first thing and they're going to hurt themselves. Yep. So you can adjust the curve, you can adjust everything that has to do with that board, and it's like having a computer on the board. Yeah, it's going to cost $5,000, but I'm telling you right now, that is going to be the number one product that everyone's going to want. They're not going to want a motorcycle. They're not going to want a scooter.
Yeah.
They're not going to want anything besides that.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that touches on a good point too, because like there already are ESCs that you can do things like that, but they're so convoluted. You have to have a special app, like a Bluetooth Vesc app that actually like you have to know all these voltage things, and it's like it's not super user friendly. So being able to make it user friendly where everyday people can just pick it up, they can find their board, they can track their board, they can change settings on it for different riders.
Right. I would. Joe touches on a good point. You have your 6-year-old niece or whatever. To have like profile presets, like user profiles, to be like, okay, who's riding? Boom, terminal X. Okay, balls to the walls. You know, let them suffer.
No restriction.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, old girl's riding it. Boom.
Yep.
Lower down the settings, ease up on the acceleration. Et cetera, et cetera. Have those user profiles that you could save and just swap out depending on who's riding the board.
Yeah, I mean, like like you were saying, think about cars. You know, cars like you can preset all the seats for the drivers. Different cars have like turbo modes and race modes and things like that. Like, why not have that all customizable on the eSkate? Like, yes, there are like the 3 settings, but it's like
it's the money.
Yeah,
it's the money.
Yeah, it is all money, I guess.
Yeah, I could see X-Way coming out with something like that someday. They have an app where you obviously like you can adjust like the braking and the acceleration. Even on their 4-wheel drive versions, you can adjust, you know, how much the front motors accelerate versus the back motors. I could see them someday just adding a profile version of that. Be like, okay, who's riding the board, and it implements those settings right away. Of course, I could see Evolve doing it too, because you can adjust all that stuff on the a lot of that stuff on the remote as well.
Yeah,
I think it's out there.
Yeah,
I think it's possible.
Yeah, and people are definitely trying to get the like GPS tracking thing going. Like Apple just released their little Apple Tile things or whatever they're called, Apple Thumbtacks or something.
Yeah, thumbtacks.
Whatever they are, but like, but they're still,
far.
and they're still not like I feel like when Joe talks about it, he's like, it's going to be like something that's attached to the trucks, like it's a permanent thing.
Right.
It's permanent, but also too, you have an app that you have.
Yeah.
So like this thing where it was on Sports Tracker where you can track all your rides, and then we had this thing that was eSkate Race, and so everyone that had Sports Tracker, as long as it was not set to private, they were on that, and it was like a competition. Dude, me and Colin Caddy were going back and forth, and the guy, his name is Mr. Panda in New York. I mean, Archie, I don't know if you guys ever seen him. He does hundreds and hundreds of miles of rides on his boards, and so we were in competition back and forth, and it made it awesome. So that's what I'm talking about is like, hey, you know, hey, Joe's out right now. You know, he's one of my friends, and I'm following him. He's out right now skating on his board. I'm going to go meet up with him and join it. You know, so it's more like, it's like a community thing. Yeah, I mean, you're touching into, you know, people like tracking your stuff, but as long as they're your buddy and you're following them as like a friend type of thing, then totally, you know. But I think that integrating something like that where it's like a community vibe where, you know, you have your board, so if someone steals it, you can go right to the police and say, hey, this person's, someone stole my board. Yeah, this is where it's at. Can we go pick it up? Dude, if you were to pay $100 for that and a subscription of $5 a month, you would do it.
Absolutely. Yeah, it'd be a no-brainer.
Well, are you okay? So have you heard of? There's a new device. I'm sure multiple carriers have them. I know T-Mobile has them. It's called a Sync Up Tracker. It's like verbatim what you just described. It's a small device. It's not much larger than like a tile, and it's small. You can put it anywhere, and it's a full cellular tracker. So somebody steals your board and takes it to another city. You have live GPS tracking, and it's $5 a month. That's why I asked, because it sounds exactly what you were talking about. Yeah, it's $5 a month.
So then if we can take that and integrate it to an app where it's a community thing.
Yeah, like a find friends kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
because there's definitely been things in the past. Like I'm pretty sure Find Your Friends was like a thing. And then like Snapchat has their little like snap map where you can see where all your friends are Snapchatting from. That'd be cool too, because then you could be like, and you could set it to public and be like, oh, like there's a big group like getting ready to ride like here. I'm going to go ride there and meet up with them. You could do much more like impromptu group rides and yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Now you got my mind like turning. I'm like, yeah, that's a good idea.
Dude, I've been in this industry for 6 years, and I have so many things in my mind of what I want to see. If I literally had $1 million, dude, it would be
just R&D. Send it out. Start getting everything done. Yeah. I love it.
So my ideas are out there. So whoever has the money, go ahead and run with it. Just give me a little point.
Whoever's listening, just take these ideas and make them, and then you can send them to Joe to do your beta testing.
No, but for real, I mean, 3/4. I feel like all of those ideas. I was like, that sounds amazing. Like I would use that tomorrow. But no, I definitely. You should check out that Sync Up Tracker because it's got a 7-day battery. It's water resistant. It's a cellular tracker. So as long as they're in I don't even know if they're in the continental United States with your board, like you can go find it. Especially in big cities, I could see that being a real big demand.
Absolutely.
And it's not large. You can hide it inside the board somewhere on the under panel,
maybe in
like
the ESC enclosure or something.
Yeah, nobody's gonna notice that. And then of course, like if people have your access to your public profile and you give them permission, then they can go see that you're out riding and go meet up or something like that.
It makes me think of those those YouTube videos where guys like, I wanna buy that bike from you from somebody that like, you know, they like stole the bike and it's like their buddy's bike and he sees it on Facebook Marketplace. Yeah, oh yeah, I want to buy that bike from you. Can I take it for a test ride? And be like, yeah, sure. And they just ride off with it.
Steal it back.
Like you start seeing some of that like vigilante justice for Eastgate. You know, people getting their buddies' boards back and stuff. Yeah.
There you go. There you go. Cutting edge.
Well, Joe, it's been an absolute pleasure getting to chat with you. Super fun getting to hear more about you, getting to hear more about your experience with Eastgate. Is there anything else you want to mention to anybody that's out there listening or watching right now?
I mean, just be yourself and have fun, man. Life is way too short, so don't stress about shit. Just fucking enjoy yourself and do what makes you happy, and just keep shredding, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, until next time, this is Electric Skatecast. You can follow us on Instagram and on all the other socials at Electric Skatecast. You can also follow SoCal Legend on Instagram and everything like that. He is SoCal_Legend. And I'm sure he would be happy to have you reach out to him if you're ever in the California area and go for a group ride. And you can also follow Terminal X on Instagram and YouTube. He is at Official Terminal X. And again, Joe, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us. And to all of our listeners and followers out there, thank you for listening. Stay safe, wear a helmet, and keep shredding.
Yep.
See ya.
Later, guys.
All right, cool. So
I had
you gotta click the end button over there. What's up?
And I had